Hello, and welcome back to the Insane Demon List channel. Today we will be going over the highlights from November, so let's see what's in store for us. The Insane Demon we are reviewing for this month is For Matilda by Jazor, and there is much to talk about. The level begins with a naturesque themed part with a primarily pink color scheme and a simple landscape as a background. A few essential elements that are executed well are the good layering in the blocks and designs, the well-made art of trees and flowers in the foreground, and the black hole effects that slowly consume the part. The next part retains the backgrounds but adds hellish designs appearing as flashes, a style very reminiscent of Peaceful by Small, yet its execution is still very fresh. The dual section of the level is much more monochrome, with a primarily lavender color. While the designs themselves are weaker, the atmosphere combined with the art in the foreground and the intensity of the song works with the parts around it. The ship at 57%, while having pretty unconventional objects, is still very visually pleasing with its smooth rotation and interesting colors. The following cube is also very visually pleasing, and the contrast and textures in the lava below and the cave above is executed beautifully. The breaking blocks are cleanly executed too, and the part serves as a good build-up to the final section of the level. The animation preceding the final section of the level is very clean too, and the movement of the hand and light is very fluid, matching with the song. The final part of the level serves as an interesting and tough challenge for players, and Jazor executed it beautifully. The fading and entering of each mini-cube, with the addition of yellow pulses and variation in the size of each window, are all combined to make an amazing product. Jazor's 13 months of work certainly paid off to create this masterpiece, and it is undeniably his best, along with being one of the best levels on the list. That's all for the Demon review, and we strongly encourage you to play this beauty of a level.
Last month was a very active month that featured several list changes. A lot of them were due to the extension of the list from 100 to 150 levels that happened in the middle of the month, which caused an abnormally high amount of work and changes to be done on the list. Even before the list extension, however, there were a lot of new levels and moves to cover. On the very first day of November, the list saw two new very obscure additions in Mild Unleashed by Sam Max at 50th place and Mint Candy by Sodaz at 66th place. A day later, the Russian mega collab Destruction of God was raised 38 spots from 54th to 16th. The first of many extremely large moves this month, on November 5th, Pixel by Ren241 was placed at 21st after finally settling down and changing back and forth from extreme to insane during September and October. On the 11th, another large raise happened with Blaster by Rustair, which was raised from its 118th position in Legacy to 78th. The next day, the only Ball Insane Demon, Veil by Nightfu, received a very harsh lower from 14th to 41st. The next day, Faster by Two Tone was removed from its 46th spot off the list entirely due to an update that fixed bugs and inconsistencies within the later portions of the level. This was quickly followed yet by another brutal lower of Like Paz 2 by the Huvon from 52nd to Lexi at the time before it returned as 107th on the top 150 list. At the same time, Layers, an XXL experimental level that was also Weekly Demon 2 months prior, placed at 86, while hell-themed extremely old and bad collab Abandoned Kingdom by L Sonics placed at 96. The next few days were very hectic, and it all started with the top 1 demon, Nightlife by Para, being lowered from the top to 5th place, making Tesseract the number 1 demon. Nightlife had been in the top 3 for almost the eternity of the Insane Demon's list existence, so this was a very large and somewhat controversial change. The same day saw 2 other less interesting but high placing levels lowered, with Athene going from 11th to 33rd and Osiris from going from 6th to 22nd. On the 15th, another Ren241 level, Fire Poner, placed at 42nd. After this change comes the list extension, which saw a lot of new levels being added over the following days. Surge of Creations by TMN Gaming at 143rd, Nocturne of Midnight by Farva at 142nd, Soul Knight by GMD Parallax as a re-edition at 141st, Mojito Funk by WAV at 141st, Restricted Zone by Hoggart at 122nd, and Neon Raver by Slade GD at 148th, as well as the most popular list level, Layak, being lowered a third time from 122nd to 133rd. In the midst of chaos, Final Epilogue by Penato was raised from 27th to 7th. Barros by Moth was placed at 52nd, and Very Visible V3 by Blue Light was raised nearly 100 spots from 119th to 31st. After some fairly insignificant changes, two big raises happened on the 22nd, with Smox by Durian Head being raised from 51st to 17th, and Sig Sev by Sminx being raised from 63rd to 13th after being in pending list changes almost since the inception of the list. Another high-profile lower happened with Reverie, by Gaten Hurtani being lowered from its second place position to 5th, below Nightlife, which had already been lowered days prior. To add to the top 10 shakeups, Tesseract by II Luna was dropped from its new number 1 place to just outside the top 10 at 11th, making Infernity the new number 1 Insane Demon. These changes in the higher positions of the list continue with Lexikov by Stepsenko being raised from the bottom 10 to just outside the top 5, and a new top 20 edition by Fish by Pedro796 at 16th. Additionally, around this time, Thorns and Brambles by Yo Reed was added at 149th, and Viridian by Eternus Whip VMAX was added at 91st. Yet another top 1 got lowered the next day, as Infernity by Amoeba was lowered to 14th place, making Wintertime the new number 1 demon. Finally, the last 2 days on the month had 3 new additions to the list: Shoebill by Heather Hayes at 144th, Effect by Mr. Supreme GD at 64th, and Memory for Dummies by Dashiel 10 at 100th. These are all the additions as well as some changes that occurred on the list in the month of November. Of course, several levels made it onto the list thanks to the extension, yet still fell off due to the sheer amount of new levels. These include Future Funk 2, Wolf Step, Club Step Reborn, Rewind, Surge of Creations, 13, Nocturne of Midnight, Neon Raver, Thorns and Brambles, Spectral Temptation, and Magnetum.
During the month of November, the list team suffered some casualties. During these times, Whisker resigned from the list team after 8 months on the team. We wish her the best of luck on what she decides to do next. Following Whisker's resignation, Great resigned from server admin, Zane resigned from list moderator, Glames, Nopal, and Monkey all resigned from list helper. Due to this, the leaders were forced to open backup applications. We saw numerous good apps, and with this, Foxu, Daxi, and Luna were all promoted to list helper in November. Helvetica was promoted to list leader, and Wolvie was promoted to list moderator. Man, what a month.
The first player shoutout on this channel goes to the 1C. They just beat the entire top 10 and other levels like Sig Sev, Daybreak, Infernity, Byzantino Vibes, and many other main list demons. He is top 5 on the Insane Demon list and has 153 subscribers, so go subscribe to him. He is a really skilled player. The link for his channel can be found in the description.
That concludes our first monthly highlights video of this channel, with hopefully much more to come. Be sure to check out For Matilda by Jazer, as well as subscribe to The Onse. The writers of this video were Pedro, Helvetica, Monkey, Wolvie, Purelabe, and Sub-Zero, and the voices were Vink, Monkey, Samosa, JCC, Proto, and McJubber. The editors were Squawk and Dash Machine. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.